Hi, thank you for watching this video. I want to share something with you real quickly that has been brought to my attention over the last few days. I've heard about this for a long time, but I took the last couple of days, just a few hours, to really sink my teeth into this, to find out what's really happening with regards to this subject. What's really going on in the world, what's really going on in America, in Florida, and particularly right here in Central Florida, the greater Orlando area. And so I want to share that with you. The world that we live in today, listen, is becoming more and more increasingly evil with every passing day. Make no mistake about it. It's becoming more and more increasingly evil with every passing day. And so I've looked into this subject and researched it. I've heard of human trafficking all the time, but it is happening at an unprecedented rate. It's happening all over. It's around us. We hear it on the news. But let me give you some real numbers, some real statistics with regards to what's happening. First of all, let me just explain what human trafficking is. Human trafficking is a form of modern-day slavery in which victims are transported to international countries, different places, and used for sexual as well as labor exploitation. And so, number one, they're used for sex slavery, which is prostitution. They are sold for labor use. They literally use them. Children are placed in sweat houses and sweat factories to work hard labor for nothing. All they get is very little food, and they have to do this for many, many years. And sometimes they just kill them when they're done with them. They're also sold for body parts. Yes, I just said it, body parts. Literally organ parts, as well as different body parts that they literally will sell for cash in exchange for money. That's why the Word of God says that the love of money is the root of all evils. Money is not evil. Money is necessary for the survival of mankind. Money does everything for you, basically. You can't survive without money. But the love and the greed for money is the root of all kinds of evil, the Word of God tells us. And so the Apostle Paul was on point. This is the lengths that people will go to make money, where they will exploit another human being, take the life of another human being, and literally exploit them for money. And so let me just bring it home a little more. The State Department of the United States issued a statistic that said 1 to 3 million people every day, women, men, as well as children, 1 to 3 million every year are sold into either labor, slavery, sex slavery, or for body parts. That happens. Human trafficking is the broad term, but different things happen with them. No one knows what happens with them when they get to where they go to. If you remember, if you have looked at the movie called Taken, was the movie. The girl that was acting in the movie was literally taken by some men when she got to a different place, and they drugged them out, and eventually they didn't know themselves. That's what they do. That happens in real, where they sell them, they drug them out to where they don't know themselves, and then they work on the streets as prostitutes, involuntary prostitution. And so that's what happens with some of them when they go. So the State Department said that of those 3 million, 1 to 3 million, most of the times, most of them, over 2 million every year, at least 1 million, 1 to 2 million every year are children. Now that is sad. 1 to 2 million children every year. It is a highly profitable and lucrative industry. Now, why am I talking about this? Because I have children, because you have children, because our children live in this world. And so we need to be informed as to what's happening so that you can take the necessary steps to protecting yourselves and that of your children. 70% of them, those stats are on the screen right now, 70% of them are females. I have girls, 2 beautiful daughters that I have to protect and look over. And so I'm talking with my older daughter, she's 8, and informing her as to not all of the details because she's too young to know all of this stuff, but I'm talking to her about not approaching strangers, not doing things that I'll just mention in a short while. $32 billion in profits every year they make by doing this. Selling them either to labor or to sex slavery or for body parts. $32 billion industry every year. It is highly organized crime. They organize it where they do the kidnapping, the people that does the kidnapping, they ship them over, however, by whatever means, how they getting them out, how they getting them in, because as well as people are shipped out of the U.S., they are shipped into the U.S. as well from different countries and used here for slavery, for prostitution, in exchange for money, of course. $32 billion industry. Think about that. Take a look as well about victims based on your race. Sex victims by race. Look at the stats. Also look now at the labor victims by race. These are the stats. These represent the demographics of those that are being taken into human trafficking. Also take a look broadly of the United States. Look closely at Florida. It's happening all over America, but look closely at Florida. According to the State Department, Florida is now and has been identified as a hub for human trafficking activity. It is cited as the highest incidences of human trafficking in the entire country. That is something for us to think about. More importantly for us, for you and I that live in Orlando, it's happening right here in Orlando, Florida. We hear it on the news all the time. Some of these cases go cold. You never hear about it again, but that doesn't mean they ever found them. Recently, here in Central Florida, the Sheriff Department has now formed what is called the Greater Orlando Human Trafficking Task Force. Now, if a task force has to be set up to combat human trafficking, then you know it is serious, and therefore we need to pay attention to what's happening and be informed about what is happening, because it is a serious, serious crime that's going on. Just because it never happened to you or to anyone that you know or to any of your loved one or anybody that you know that knows someone, that doesn't mean it can't happen to you. That doesn't mean it can't happen to your children. Not everyone that comes to Central Florida is coming to go to Disney World or to Universal Studios or Wet n Wild or Legoland or Busch Gardens. Not all of them come to go to the theme park. They come here because they are a great opportunity to take children. So they will do whatever they have to do to get a hold of them. So we need to be very careful. What exactly do you need to do to protect yourself? How do you protect yourself as well as your children in particularly? I'm sharing this because I know so many people live right here in Central Florida that have children, teenagers as well as small kids, and we need to be so careful. Parents, I want to encourage you, don't let your children go out alone at night if they're below a certain age. And even if they're over a certain age, make sure they have a way to contact you. You have a way to contact them. We're living in a world today where it's so easy to stay in touch with somebody. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's WhatsApp, there's cell phone as a whole. There's so many ways to stay in touch. Stay in touch with your children. Know where they are at every given time. And I'm not saying this in terms of you're trying to control their lives and trying to figure out what they're doing. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about knowing where they are so that in case of an emergency, you know where they were last seen or where they were, who they were with. And so you need to pay very close attention to that. As well as when you go to the stores, when you go to the supermarkets, to the groceries, to the shopping malls, anywhere you go, even at the theme parks, stay close to your children. Keep small children close to you. Don't let them stray away from you in the supermarket and different places, because believe it or not, they frequent and lurk around in places like these where there's high traffic, where they can quickly slip away with someone's child. And so be very careful. Watch what you're doing. Stay informed about what's happening around you in particular. Go on the internet. Google sex offenders in Orlando. Google sex offenders in your neighborhood. Believe it or not, the government has made it very easy, made it of information available where you just have to go search, put in certain keywords, and put in your address, and you can know where they live, because believe it or not, they're living in your community. They are living 1 to 2 miles away from you, and in a lot of cases they can be living next door, and you don't want that. You need to know what's going on. Stay informed. And to teens as well, you may be 18 years and older and you think you're an adult and you can do what you want to do, and that's okay. Yes, you can. You're an adult according to the law, but keep a close relationship with your parents. Stay informed with your parents as well. Stay in touch with them when you go out. Avoid as much as possible going out by yourself at night. Go with someone else. And even if you have to go out by yourself at night, or you end up out by yourself at night, try to get home at a decent hour. And if you know you're going to get home very late, then make sure that someone goes with you. Make sure someone stays on the phone with you. There are apps now that's available that you can literally check in and people can know where you are and stuff like that. Do whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe, because it's happening. As much as possible, like I said, stay informed and all of that stuff, because guess what? You and I know that we don't ever want any one of our children to be taken. We don't want it to happen to anybody that we know even. So I encourage you to encourage somebody to look at this video. I'm not just putting this out because just for information's sake, but I'm putting it out there because the information was brought to me. I looked into it. I studied it. It is real. Human trafficking is happening here. It's happening right now. It's happening all over America. New York, California, Texas. These are places it's happening at a very high and a rapid pace. But right here as well, in Florida, in Orlando. So keep your eyes and your ears open and continue to pray for your children. I'm not saying this for you to be living in fear. The Word of God tells us in 2 Timothy 1 and 7, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And so, but I'm saying this for you to trust God. Continue to pray for your children. Cover them under the blood of Christ, because the thief cometh not but for to steal. And literally in this case, I'm talking about stealing your children, to kill and to destroy. But Jesus said, I am come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. So I encourage you here today to stay informed again. Watch what's going on. Watch the world around you. And I'm telling you, man, we're living in the last days. Jesus is about to come. And so be ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man come. Thank you for watching this video. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord bless your children, your entire family, as you continue to walk in covenant with Him. Be blessed. Sleepless nights and desperate cries, He is captured.